door open for people, that kind of stuff, right? All right.
Sympathy and empathy.
Sympathy and empathy. What else would we want to value as a society?
Equality.
Equality. Yep.
Solidarity.
Oh, solidarity. What does that look like in terms of the whole community, Anna?
A community.
Like community sticking together?
Yeah.
Yeah, as like a country or as a small group within a country? Like on a country level, that's called patriotism, right? Yep. We're just coming up with values that you might want to include in a society.
Man United, supporting Man United.
Not united.
Absolutely.
So for example, our society might also value intelligence, right? Can I have some more words? I want to do this as quick as possible. Well-being. What else?
Good character.
Ooh, character. What do you mean by good character though?
Like, good character, I think, encompasses every pleasant, like, characteristic a person could have.
Isn't that courtesy?
No,
I'm going to write
courtesy-
individual character.
Come on.
Courtesy is an
Development.
Growth.
Someone of it.
Yep, what else?
wisdom.
Oh, wisdom. Yep.
Knowledge.
I'm going to add strength.
Integrity.
I'm going to add individualism.
Integrity.
I'm going to add
Integrity.
community.
Integrity.
Integrity, sure. What else?
Sustainability.
Self-esteem.
Loyalty.
Self-esteem.
Self-esteem.
That's a personal thing, my guy.
We can
my
make
God,
dude.
Self-esteem.
Confidence.
All right, let's do this slightly differently. What are some things? What are the top 3 values of America?
Freedom.
Freedom.
For the American
guns.
government.
Do they even have
Freedom.
Taking over the Middle East.
What else?
Oil.
What are the top 3 values of Australia?
None of them.
Kangaroos.
Just chilling.
Just chilling.
What else?
Respect.
Respect. What else? Mateship.
Openness.
Snags on the Barbie.
What's this for? Who's this for?
What about for England? What are they?
Tea.
Buckingham
Poshness.
Poshness.
Buckingham Palace. Buckingham
No,
Palace.
all you need is tea, match of the day,
Man United.
and the heater on it.
Buckingham
And
Palace.
expensive weddings.
What do they value the most in Saudi Arabia?
Bro, that's a whole other issue.
Or Israel or something like that.
That's a whole other
Or
issue.
religion.
Wait, that is the good.
Oh no! Sorry?
Oh no!
Good. Meg.
No
What else?
No one
We
says.
don't value men.
No one says.
Other societies do in the Middle East, specifically.
Yes.
So they were talking
No one
about.
says the big word.
But we could also value women more than men, right? What else? Books. Sport, right?
No one says the B word.
That's a big word. Books.
The other B word.
Any others? One more.
Yeah, try.
Sustainability.
I'm going to put one up that's kind of interesting. Cruelty.
Who values cruelty?
Some people value like the ability to be cruel, right? Like to yourself, like through self-discipline. That's what Nietzsche would say, right? I'd like you to please, working individually, I will give you 5 minutes to rank all of these.
Just blind ones?
Why don't we do top 10?
Yeah, really.
You can do your top 10. I'd like your top 10, actually top 5 and bottom 5.
Bottom 5.
Top 5 and bottom 5.
Men is the lowest.
You're allowed to value men as the lowest if what you mean is an emphasis on men. Yeah? That's fine. I mean, you're allowed to do whatever you want, but that's what I mean by these. I mean an unfair emphasis on one or the other. Top 5, bottom 5, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that.
Can you give me a distinction between sympathy and
Sympathy and empathy. Sympathy is when you feel bad for someone because they're in pain. Empathy is when you can imagine feeling the pain as well.
Oh my god, wait. Toxic masculinity.
Yeah, like say you got lots of homework, and I was like, oh, I know exactly what that
Oh,
feels
yeah,
like. And I'm
the
thinking
top-
about how bad
top
it is to
one.
have lots of work. That's empathy. If you've got lots of homework and I'm like, that must be hard for you. I understand, I feel sorry for you, but I don't feel your pain. Yeah, you can anyway.
I've never known a feeling of homework.
Add your own if you like, guys. Totally fine.
Well, I think if you've got a good character, like being a good person, define people nicely. Or being a good role model.
One of my friendships is relationship and shoot.
Yeah, but no, like, that's only friends. I don't know, like, everyone.
Like, make sure you do it.
What's five?
I can rate my top 5, I just can't rate them.
Sure.
Say,
What are your top 5?
Sympathy and empathy is definitely one.
No, but
Friendship
also
is
just wait, hold on. Loyal, like,
respect.
like that one.
Oh, general respect, yes. So like an emphasis on respect. No, an emphasis on respect is a little bit too much.
Because you want more what?
Equality.
Equality? Oh, so respect leads to equality.
Like a lot of the time, people who demand respect from people around them. It's like, yeah, it's really annoying. It's like talking to them is like, yes, fear me and respect me.
You don't like that. So if you set up a society, those people would be around.
It wouldn't, no, not like, like,
They might be around, but they wouldn't have much money.
no, like, the same as everyone else, just would be strongly discouraged because it's really annoying.
Just peer pressure them into not doing that.
Why? Because like it's the name of one
Just because being around those people is really infuriating a lot of the time.
Right.
Like
Is that a good way to set up a system?
no.
Based on just what you don't like?
Yeah.
But I'd like you to do it.
Yeah, that's why I don't like to respect business.
Do you think the system of morality is set up? It's just what powerful people
I mean,
like or don't like?
that's one way to look at it. Another way, which I like to do, is the survival thing.
Yeah.
The whole
It's more of an unconscious process.
Yeah, the things we value as right and good
Yeah.
just come from survival.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I like thinking that it actually is right, but you know, probably there's no way to balance that or gauge that. So
It's just a survival.
it's a survival thing, yeah. Which happens to turn out for the better, I guess.
Isn't that a bit sad though?
It's definitely sad, so
Doesn't
like
that mean that like morality isn't
real.
real in the sense that we used to think?
Yeah, and I'm totally accepting that. It's just kind of like, because when you think about is it right or not, you don't have an answer. You don't have like an answer that you can be satisfied with. Right?
Yeah, but we still feel like the force of moral reasoning. Like it's bad to kids.
Because it's just bad.
Yeah, we're not going to disagree on that.
Yeah, yeah.
But it seems like what you're saying is that if it's just an evolutionary thing, that's not really a reason because that's not going to stop our species surviving. Is it?
Yeah, yeah, but what I'm
Probably.
well, I mean, so it's more like in general, it's just kind of something that's if it's a loss of if it's a loss for one.
I know what you mean.
You try to avoid losses. It's kind of what I've been thinking. Like to survive, you avoid losses.
I wouldn't say that's
Avoid losses for like if you can gain something else and lose something, like it's kind of not beneficial in the long run. To everyone.
What about like what Helgora was saying that we're so dominated now that we don't need morality?
To survive, yeah. I mean,
If we don't need it, can we get rid of it?
can we get rid of it? No, because then things start falling back. They go, you can't do it. If you get rid of murder as bad, then we start murdering each other. Then we revert back to trouble. And then we have to reinstate that.
So we do need morality.
Yeah, we need morality, yeah.
But if we get to a point where we don't need morality,
I don't think so. Because like, if you take away the rule, they can't kill people. We start killing people. Then you need to
yeah. What if there's just like massive population?
massive.
Can you imagine murder like a hunger game becoming like a survival strategy?
he.
Well, I mean,
he was happy. And we like.
I can't imagine that morally, right? I can't imagine us as a species deciding that it's good to wipe out part of our population all the time.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they won't
always.
get food. But I can imagine us doing
I'm
other
just
things
trying to
like
strive to get more food or more space.
That's right.
But like we
Or
wouldn't strive to.
universe or something like that.
Yeah, universe, stuff like that. Then you wouldn't strive to kill people. You wouldn't. Majority of people
Oh,
would
which
agree with
one?
taking away that.
That's
just my number one.
Maybe if it's, if we wouldn't resort to something just because it was for survival, that means morality is just really about survival.
Wouldn't that be getting more food and more space more beneficial in the long run?
Well, that's, yeah, that's very true. But say you couldn't,
So you couldn't do that. And
say climate change happens and there's not much land left, there's not much food, but there's still billions of people.
well, more beneficial, right? To try to find like expand to like a different planet.
Yeah,
Yeah, like it's like taking the risk to do something that's more beneficial as opposed to having less of a risk to do something less beneficial overall.
yeah.
They might got wanted by,
Cool. I'll give you some time. Have you guys done?
I think when they realize they have the
Some sort of combination of being honest to yourself and others about your character.
like I'm
Yeah,
like
so
a decent
having
man.
integrity means like doing what you say you'll do. You guys done? Girls done? Guys done?
I'll never let you down because you have something like it.
Alright. Let's try and compare. Who do we think will be the most different in the room?
What do you mean?
Who do you think is going to have the most different lists? Let's try. I haven't really talked to Kevin today, and I haven't and Ridge. I'd like to do yours. So Kevin, can you read me your top 5?
It's not order, but
Yep.
equality, respect, growth, well-being,
Quality, respect, growth, well-being, and sympathy. Okay. What made you pick those?
I guess this is what I see as what we countries should aim to have
Yep.
as their values. Also for intelligence and strength. But I couldn't
Oh, you couldn't decide. You also want intelligence and strength.
Yeah.
Would you rather have strength or well-being?
Well-being.
Well-being.
Yeah.
So you'd rather be like happy than more capable?
Yeah.
Okay. Reed, what are your top 5?
Wisdom, individualism, books, strength. I wrote anti-religion, not as in I don't like religion, but like not just objective sense. Does that make sense?
Oh, sure. So it's not that you don't like religion, you just think they're wrong. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's one way to do that. That's a very different list to Kevin's. Why did you choose those?
I don't know. I agree with Nietzsche.
Nietzsche?
Yeah, a little bit more. I don't know.
I've got just another interruption. Can I lock you in for Thursday basketball stuff as student cup?
Sure can.
Oh, Ben Simmons.
There's an animal. You haven't seen him on the court yet, have you?
So we're talking about strength, and we're talking about me being amazing at basketball, and we're talking. So what? You have a very different vision of a good society to Kevin. Does that make sense? Does everyone see how their visions of a society are very different? A religious society values individual achievement, strength, wisdom, learning, intelligence. Yeah. Kevin's society is much more focused on happiness and etc. Yeah. Kevin, I'm going to get you to do this analysis. What would Nietzsche think about your two societies?
Nietzsche. Yeah. He'll hate mine.
He would hate your one. How come?
Because it's a herd.
It's a herd, right?
Yeah, basically a herd.
Yeah, good. But you prefer that anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you prefer well-being to intelligence and strength?
It's important to me. Well-being over what?
Intelligence and strength.
I think it's more important just to be healthy and being able to like do regular things without any limitations, I guess.
Limitations.
And I think that I value that more because intelligent stuff can come along with. It's like the extension of what I believe perfect society would be.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you think that to have really good well-being, it would be better? Would you be a happier person, more satisfied human being, if you were more intelligent or less intelligent?
I think you'd be happy. This is what I've seen, but I think you'd be more happy if you're less intelligent.
More happy if you're less intelligent. Can we talk about that just briefly? Hand up if you think you'd be a happier person if you were less intelligent. Hand up if you think you'd be a happier person if you were more intelligent.
Are you aware if you're less intelligent than others?
Sorry?
Are you aware of your lack of intelligence?
Oh, you're let's say you're unaware of your lack of intelligence. You think you're just a normal. Have you guys heard of anything? Have you guys heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect?
Yeah. Yes.
I'll show you very briefly. This is how it works, right? This is over here.
No Y-axis.
This is how good you think you are at something. This is how good you think you are at something, and this is how good people are at things. Now, the Dunning-Kruger effect is a really interesting effect. You get people to rate themselves on a scale of 1 to 10. Right? 1 to 10. How good are you at maths? Right? And they've done this study all over the world with every culture of person.
Oh.
Now, if people are actually if they've got basic addition and subtraction, division and multiplication, they'll give themselves about a 5.5 at how good they are at maths. If they can do a bit more than that, like factorizing and etc., they give themselves a much worse mark, down at like a 3. And then by the time they finish their PhD, they give themselves about an 8 or a 9. And the curve works like this. But sometimes it works like this. This would be more like a philosophy curve. This would be like, if you ask someone who's never studied philosophy before, what do you know about what's good and bad? They'd be like, I know everything. Yeah? And then if you study more philosophy, suddenly you realize that actually you don't really know anything. And you're down here. And this is probably my level of education, I'll be honest. Wow, I'm down here where I know much more than this person, but I'm just aware of my ignorance a lot more too. And if I did a PhD, I might eventually get to the point where I think I know a little bit more, but I still don't know heaps. Does that make sense? It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. The idea here is that people who are more ignorant are less aware of their ignorance. They genuinely rate themselves as high as people who have a doctorate in whatever the field is. Like a doctorate, they'd be like, how good are you at physics? They'd be like, oh, I'm about an 8. And that's what Einstein would give himself, right? But they don't see that disconnect. This happens in every single field with every single field of study. Yeah? Naturally, we would do this with the things that we are not good at because we're not aware, usually, of our level of ignorance. Like, how good am I at sewing? I reckon I could patch an arm in like a broken shirt or something like that. If I sat down with an actual shirt and a sewing machine, it'd probably take me 2 days to sew a patch on a shirt. Does that make sense? I'd realise I'm actually down here. Yeah? Something like that. So, we were talking about happiness and whether you need to be smart to do it. There's a really important comparison point between Nietzsche and Socrates, right? And Aristotle. Yeah? What's Socrates' example to show that you can be happy, but a bit stupid or dumb, and not really be flourishing? What are one of his examples for that? It's a bit of a stretch, but...
Leaky jar.
Leaky jar is a good one. Yeah, you can be seeking pleasure constantly. That's actually a really good one. Perfect. You're constantly seeking pleasure, you're seeking happiness, just like what Kevin said, you're seeking well-being, right? Socrates thinks that every action, everyone is aiming at happiness, at flourishing, at well-being. But some people aren't smart enough to do it properly, he says, Socrates says. Yeah? You have to be aware enough to seal your jars first. You have to only go to like honey and good stuff, good pleasures. Can't just be itching and scratching the whole time. Does that make sense? So for Socrates, you have to be wise to be happy. Now that's not to say that there aren't people out there who are pleasure seekers, who aren't wise, but they're not living eudaimonic lives for Socrates. Does that make sense? If you're going out there and you're really rich and you've inherited a bunch of money and you buy a boat and a yacht and you live your whole life and you never work, you might be happy, but you're not happy in Socrates' sense. Does that make sense? All right. A Regis society is very different. Regis, why did you choose those as your list? Why wouldn't you choose the same as Kevin? What's different about you, do you think?
I don't know, for me it's more about like just thinking about yourself.
Yeah.
Like being a bit more selfish rather than thinking about others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Because, I don't know, I think you'll grow more if you just think about yourself.
And you just value growth.
Yeah.
Nice one. All right. This probably took me till like second year uni to start thinking about this kind of stuff, right? So it's pretty hard stuff, yeah? But this is kind of the crux of the issue of morality. If you accept like Nietzsche, that we can create value, yeah? Or maybe that we can make it up even if it's out there, then you have to start asking, how should we create value? Why should we create some values some ways or not others? So for example, if you could only choose between Kevin's and Regis' system, why would you choose one or the other? If morality is relative, then it's all up in the air, and you can choose whatever you like. But why? Why would you choose one or the other? Nietzsche thinks you're motivated by your will to power. He thinks that people are fundamentally power-driven, and we're constantly chasing that. Talk to the person next to you. Do you think that's right? Is our fundamental motivation a will to power? Or is our fundamental motivation, is our goal always well-being and happiness? Talk to the person next to you.
Surviving the best way possible.
Well-being set.
My opinion.
Why do you wait till 11 on a school day?
Next week.
It's on a school day.
What if you're happy?
Alright, but you might go back to real movies.
That is yours.
And they didn't have one. Just so above these on my job. And they can't. Yo, Evan, what do you think?
Making people's
What's the question?
But
What drives us to
Yeah, it's very different. But usually they go together. Like they're related skills.
So
Right?
what's power is on a rule for everyone
Yeah.
to
Empathy is like almost
Is this some external force?
sympathy's easier, I reckon. Empathy you have to sort of almost train yourself to do. Yeah. Empathy is a really fundamental philosophical skill because you have to go and think for someone else's perspective, right? And a lot of people would read Nietzsche and not really understand how.
I'm like on 0-0.
Alright guys, let's open the reading and finish off Nietzsche.
Fair enough.
Last bit of Nietzsche, we're going to finish off. Can someone share because I lost my reading? Thanks. Alright, you ready? Section 284. To live with a tremendous and proud self-possession, always beyond something. Dash. You guys see that dash? Always beyond. What does that mean, always beyond with a dash? Andy? Always beyond good and evil, perhaps, but he doesn't say good and evil. He just says always beyond. What does the dash represent? Beyond, right? The dash represents beyond, always pushing forward. Yeah? Nietzsche is saying that this is the best way to live, right? You should always be pushing beyond, always forwards, always beyond the old way, or maybe the weak way, or whatever. To have and to not have one's emotions, one's for and against at will. To condescend to have them for a few hours, to seat oneself on them as horses, often as on asses. For one has to know how to employ their stupidity as well as their fire. If you could seat yourself on your emotions, what would that mean you could do?
Stifle them.
Stifle them, you could if you wanted to. Like your sympathy, for example, you could stifle your sympathy. If you could jump on a different emotion, what could you jump on? You could jump on anger, if you wanted to. Jump on happiness. Nietzsche is saying that you should be able to jump on and off different emotions. Beyond that, he's also intimating that maybe you should be able to jump on and off different beliefs or arguments. Yeah? Do you guys remember when Callicles was saying that when you should argue in the marketplace, in the political arena, you should be able to say what's popular? Yeah? To get yourself power. Saying, well, you should be able to think that that strawberry ice cream is the best if that gets 70% of people to vote for you. And if actually 70% of them prefer chocolate, you should be able to jump on the chocolate bandwagon. Yeah? Get really involved in that. That's why I had you write rhetoric with a question mark here. Nietzsche is saying that you should be able to jump between different values, emotions, beliefs, based on what's going to work for you, what's going to be successful. Does that make sense? To keep one's 300 foregrounds, also one's dark glasses. For there are instances where no one may look into our eyes, still less into our grounds. This 300 foregrounds bit I haven't looked up and I just don't understand. So if someone can look that up and figure out what that means, that's all good. I have an idea what these dark glasses mean. What do we think that could mean?
Like you blindfold yourself?
Right, you blindfold yourself or you don't let others see what you're really thinking or doing. Good, so you shield yourself to other people. Maybe it means blindfold yourself. Nietzsche thought that forgetfulness was actually a really useful human trait, especially when you'd done something bad. It was really good if you could forget about it. Do you guys ever have those little awkward things that you sometimes wake up at 2 a.m. and you're like, I can't believe I did that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Don't you wish you could forget them sometimes?
Yep.
If you could just wipe it from your mind. Nietzsche thinks that a powerful and controlled person will be able to forget about the bad things. Yeah? Remember the good things. Promote this nice, powerful self-image. Anyway, keep going on. And to choose for company that cheerful and roguish vice of politeness, and to remain master of one's 4 virtues. He thinks these things are all amazing. Courage, insight, sympathy, and solitude. Sympathy is an interesting one to put in there. To remain master of sympathy. What does that mean? What does it mean to remain master of sympathy? You can control when you use it, right? Nice. And similarly, you can control when you use your insight. You can control when you are courageous. And then solitude. For solitude is with us a virtue. This bit here really talks to Nietzsche's individualism. Yeah? It is a sublime urge and inclination for cleanliness, which figures out that all contact between man and man, he's talking about any relationship that you have in society, in community, must inevitably be unclean. All community makes somehow, somewhere, sometime common. He means common in a very derogatory sense. He means average, mediocre, lame. That's what he's saying. Why does he think that contact between people leads to a reduction?
Herd morality.
It leads to a herd morality, right? It leads to a compromise or something like that. Yeah? That's why he thinks compromise is bad, doesn't lead to growth. So he thinks contact between people is unclean. Yeah? Herd morality is an emetic, remember, something that makes you vomit. Are we okay with that last paragraph? Nietzsche's not massively a fan of community-mindedness, is he? How do you think Nietzsche would feel about communism?
Anti.
anti-communism unless communism was a system being used by a dictator to overtake a whole country. Does that make sense? He'd probably love it in that case.
Would you like Kim Jong-un?
Good question. Would Nietzsche like Kim Jong-un? Talk about with the person that
Yeah.
He didn't like Hitler, so
He would love him, fam.
So, good. Why didn't he like Hitler?
He didn't like the Nazi party. Hitler wasn't around as much.
But why?
He died.
You have to look it up.
Yeah,
Yeah, I never really did see that. Alright.
I reckon
What is this?
system because
Guys, at the end of the chapter in the textbook, there are some review questions.
Is this
Wait.
work? Does it look like real?
I'm confused with
Generate a dose.
Surely at 7
I got Ronaldo. Let's see if Ronaldo is in it.
Are you going there, Daniel? Sticking.
thinking or
I
sleeping.
got 4.
Any coffee?
Yeah, boys.
Ah, you got it.
I got.
Oh, smells smooth, smelling something. Huh? Smells. Like, why? Yeah, like your waist.
Really?
Yeah. After smelling stuff. He smells
What is something?
Oh, so like really quick.
Why is it?
Yeah, like
One day, he's like,
17 was the goal.
Can I have 4 volunteers? Just to volunteer themselves.
No.
No?
You need a country set. Yeah.
What are we signing up for?
Thanks, Anna. I'll have Abdul.
Eric, do you want to swap questions? Do you wait, I've got questions.
Guys, these are the review questions. Can we look up? There's some review questions in the
There's still
textbook.
2 more.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna leave those.
Give that to
I'd like you to
Jeremy.
do these review questions for homework, not now. For the question that I have assigned to you, I would like you to post your answer on Facebook, please.
Can we not do that?
No, I want you to post your answer on Facebook, please. Unless you're not on Facebook, in which case you can email me and I will email it to me and I will post it.
They want to specify it. This stuff.
So, does everyone have their question?
Yes.
I'd like you to do this by Wednesday, please. Now, obviously doing all the review questions will help you, right? I'm going to leave it up to you as to how much you do. I would recommend you do them all, but it is going to be up to you. I'm not going to check that you've done all of them, okay? And this is probably over the next week or so. You do need to do your question by Wednesday. Make sense?
Yeah. Come on, the lads.
Excellent. Yeah.
Does Nietzsche value happiness?